All right, everybody. Thanks once again for joining us on AM Rockland's News. We have for our weekly spot, County Executive Ed Day is with us to give us an update on several different matters pertaining to Rockland County. Ed, thanks for joining us on AM Rockland News again today.
Great to be here, Tom. Hope all is well with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. The Rockland County Corrections Officers exams are coming up. And I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about that. I saw that on the newswire.
Yeah, absolutely. We are trying to trying to get that word out as much as we can. There's a strong need for corrections officers right now. Rockland, and just so everybody's aware, because there's different perspectives on what that job is about. A Rockland County Corrections Officer does far more than just maintain safety. That's the obvious situation. But they contribute to an individual's rehabilitation efforts. And it's very difficult to really explain how that plays out. But as a former cop, there's a connection of some sorts when you're dealing with one who's a prisoner and one who is a person of authority in law enforcement. And it can become very interesting in many ways, and something that actually does contribute to the rehabilitation efforts that we put forth as part of corrections. The job is challenging, critically important to public safety, and a necessity. So it's an opportunity now to take the corrections officer exam. The application deadline is Thursday, August 22nd. It's
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, August 22nd. Written exam plus physical agility tests. It requires stamina, it requires strength, it requires quick thinking. The benefits: you have a stable career with excellent benefits, and the chance to make a real impact in so many ways being part of law enforcement. This career can be rewarding, challenging, and, as I alluded to earlier, life changing. So, if folks who are considering this job can apply to or get more information and apply to contact our personnel department at 845 364 3737. Again, that is 845 364 3737. And that's our personnel department. But definitely give them a holler if you have any interest whatsoever. I will tell you now that if you have an interest in this at all, start preparing for the physical. The physical is not
Yeah.
easy to do. And if you wait till the last minute to get rid of a beer gut, you're gonna have a problem. It just
Uh,
doesn't work out that way.
Right. I'm looking at the exam part B. I'm on the Rockland County government site and gives the overview of the corrections officer exam. So part of this is sit-ups, push-ups, and a 1.5-mile run. And I guess I'm looking at I'm looking at the 40 to 49 category for myself. I'm just wondering if I could test myself against this if I wanted to. And it's not terrible. It's like 29 sit-ups. You got to do 18 push-ups. I try to do more push-ups than the current year. Just the last two digits, not the whole thing. And then that run, I remember when I was back in high school, it was like, I basically was able to do the 12-minute mile. So that might be a little sketchy. I don't know if I could pull that off, but I think if people push themselves, they'd be able to hop into this. And it really is, I think over the course of time, it's been something that, the compassion of really trying to help people that are incarcerated and, make adjustments and plan for the future, that comes into play. There's some good eggs that are trying to rehabilitate themselves.
You hit the nail right in the head, Tom. And the reality also is that when you look at the prisoners that we have here in the county jail, for example, which is the area that you would handle as a corrections officer for Rockland County, a significant percentage of those people are not there for serious crimes. They're there, and it's an opportunity, a momentary opportunity during that time where someone can have a new thought about what he or she wants to do for life after they've experienced a jail scenario. So it really can have an effect, and the opportunities are there. And again, if you're service minded, if you looking for a career in law enforcement, this certainly is an option that you should seriously consider. And that's pretty much it. Again, the number of the personnel department is 364-3737. The other item I wanted to touch base on today, Tom, is this is National Immunization Month. And this is something that was always just an automatic over the years. I was one of the early ones who got the first polio shots, for example.
Got it.
Yeah, it was back in the 50s. And it's something that is very important. Childhood diseases are preventable by virtue of the vaccination. So, people should have understand it. Take away vaccines are safe, they're effective, they protect against serious, potentially life-threatening illnesses. Don't sell things like measles short. Measles at my when I was a kid was popularly called fever with a rash. It's come over the years. We've come to understand that it's a lot worse than it could have a lifelong impact upon your way of life. Um, what we accomplish by having vaccinations across the board, we have herd immunity, which really protects the most vulnerable when vaccination rates remain high. Uh,
Hmm.
we maintain high vaccination rates prevents the return of dangerous diseases. You'll remember in Rockland County back in 2018, as I recall, through 19, we had the second highest, or actually the third highest uh, um, impact of measles in here in Rockland County. Was Rockland County and Clark County out in Washington were the two major counties that had gotten hit with this. It took us almost a year to overcome we'll call it a pandemic as it were, um, and
Right.
and basically part of that was really a buy-in by many peoples and communities to get vaccinations. Um, and again, the maintaining that high vaccination rate prevents the return of these dangerous diseases. So in New York State, children who are in daycare, pre-K, or grades K to 12 must have all required vaccinations to attend school unless they have a valid medical exemption. That's the only way they cannot do it. You have to have a doctor sign off on it. Um, we have Summer is the perfect time to schedule your child's annual checkup, which is probably one of the reasons why this is the month they are focusing on it, because they can ensure they're up to date with the vaccinations before the new school year. Because again, you're not going to be allowed to go to school unless you've got these immunizations scheduled up to date. Uh,
Right.
there are no non-medical exemptions allowed for school vaccine requirements in New York State. That means there was a religious exemption at one time, and in support of the notion that that really wasn't necessary, uh, men and women of the cloth all banded together to really make it very clear that religions do endorse the fact that getting these immunizations done is critically important, and there are no um, exemptions that should be granted for a perceived uh, a perceived.
Well, I guess the way that I mean, there's a long history of vaccinations. I mean, if we go back to that, I think that guy, what the heck was his name? Edward Jenner. He was the one that created the smallpox vaccine. I think it was like I want to say it was like in the early 1800s. So, I mean, along the course of time, and obviously we dealt with the pandemic of 2020. That was a mess.
Yes.
But really, the only thing that's kept, quite frankly, the human genome from not blipping out is immunizations. I mean, bacteria and viruses exist. It's those hidden little demons.
Yeah. When you look at measles, measles, 90% chance of getting an infection from someone with measles. It's a virulent disease.
Yeah.
And also the other part of this that is very important that is not spoken about too often is the reality of those young ones, 6 months, 8 7 8 months up to pre-K, that are not going to school yet, and it's easy to not include those immunizations in your visits to a doctor, your pediatrician for your children.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's very, and there's no check on that obviously, except what we do, we do mailings here in Rockland. We have a very effective effort to combat these childhood diseases here in Rockland after we went through back in 2018 and 19. So it's something that it's just something we try to put on people's radar. Uh, the virulence of that disease and how much damage it can do to a baby.
Mm-hmm.
Please, just really talk to your pediatrician. That's what I tell parents right out of the gate. There's a lot of commentary surrounding vaccines and immunizations that all came out of the the pandemic, where
Hmm.
people were questioning, and frankly, with good reason, questioning the vaccinations of our children at the time. So,
Yeah.
but again, this was a vaccine that was really purported to do a lot more than it was promised to do, and we have now with something that's really the proven product that goes back. Like I said, I'm 74 years of age, and I was one of the early kids who got the vaccinations.
Right.
Well, family should speak to your pediatrician. Schedule annual wellness visits. It's important to do as a parent because you get on schedule, you get reminded, and that's very important.
Yeah.
Rockland County Department of Health has a child immunization clinic and you can make appointments in Pomona or Spring Valley. And again, encourage parents to do so. You can reach our health department directly at 845-364-2520, 364-2520. And again, this is a very serious situation that need not be. As long as everybody who's eligible gets their immunizations done, that brings a herd immunity into play, which is exactly what we need to do to make sure that we never go through we went through in 2018 for a full year ever again. And
Yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
pretty much what we got, Tom.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. How's the weather? 10 miles away from here in New City, it's I think it's like 91 degrees over here.
I
It's
I I beg to try to make a point of checking the weather before I go out the door. And
yeah,
it seems to be not a there's no matchup between what I'm reading on my phone and what I walk into when I walk outside.
right.
It's like walking into a wall of warmth. It's just
Wall of warmth. Yeah, exactly. And I must be a little bit nuts for the warm weather because I'm outside on my porch doing this podcast with you, and I mean I got some shade over me, but I don't know. I'm just used to the warm weather. I enjoy it, but I believe there are a bunch of cooling centers across Rockland County that are available if anybody needs to just cool off for a little bit.
Yep, you go right to our main page on our county website, and you can get all the locations there.
Excellent. Yeah, I see a few here: Patriot Hills Senior Center, Ramapo Senior Center, and a lot of village halls and town halls. So
Yep.
much appreciated on that. Yeah, that's and well, thanks for being on the show again today. And sometimes no news is good news, but got some good things covered, especially about the corrections officers exams and National Immunization Month. County Executive Ed Day. Thank you for being on the AM Rockland's news show today once again.
Great to be here, Tom. Thanks for having me.
All right. Okay.